ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Okay, very good morning, my dear friends. Welcome to today's session. Today's our eminent resource person, Senior Most Botany Paternity, Associate Professor Dr. THIRUNAHARI UGANDHAR sir, working in Kakatiya Government College, Autonomous, Hanmakonda, Warangal district. Sir is going to explain the most important topic related to or cell biology. Yesterday, sir has clearly explained about the plasma membrane models, structure and function, components of the plasma membrane. Today, sir is going to explain about the continuation, the yesterday topic. Sir, please welcome and start your session, sir.
Sir, okay. Sir, photo say.
మిత్రమా స్క్రీన్ కనబడుతుందా మిగతా వాళ్ళకి?
Okay, okay.
రెస్పాండ్ కండి.
Today.
హరీష్ స్క్రీన్ వస్తుందా? హరీష్ స్క్రీన్ వచ్చిందా?
Start, sir.
Okay, start చేయండి సార్. Okay, sir. Please proceed. Please proceed, sir.
So today we are discussing the mitochondria and chloroplast. So these two are a major important role in a self-autonomous substance or self-autonomous cell organelles, which majorly important for the then it can be uses of. So not moves or movement either. Okay. So these are a mitochondria. Then introduction of the mitochondria are important cell organelles associated with the energy metabolism, which is also important to the powerhouse or energy currency of ATP release of cell organelles. In the plant cell, only two type of organelles are self-replicated. First one mitochondria, second one chloroplast. Both are have self-replicated DNA is present. They were first reported by Collier 1880 from the flight muscles of insects. The name mitochondria was given by Benda 1897. Mitochondria are derivative of Greek words. Mito means head, chondria means granules, which is a important of the cell organelles. Then the four scientists who were involved in the discovery of the mitochondria. First one, that is also Richard Altman. Then second one, Carl Benda. So third one, and a Collier scientist. The fourth one is also called Gustav Ridges. The discovery of mitochondria in general came in 1890 when Richard Altman, a cytologist, identified the organelles and dubbed them bioplast. Carl Benda in 1898 coined the term mitochondria from Greek threads. Mito means also called a granules and also thread, mitos and granules, chondries. This is also important of the cell organelles of the plants. These are total mitochondrial function which can performing the human being and also called the plants, which is also important. The type of the mitochondria, cell structure, cell number is also based to conducting the metabolic activities in plants. It is a majorly the cancer, the several diseases and conducting the metabolic activities in throughout of the life, which are all there in the single figure. That is cancer, obesity, drug abuse, anesthesia, diabetes, aging, cardiovascular, stapes and stepic stock, neuromuscular, nervous system, several type of the organelles which are performing these activities of the mitochondria. So this mitochondria is also causes which can DNA, and it can causes of the tumors. These tumors are responsible to the cancer, malfigient, also called a name. So then several type of the causes of the disease. The glucose metabolism, developmental activity in animals and plants, proliferation, therapy, apoptosis, then is a anglocysis, mitochondrial medicine or therapeutics, calcium homeostasis, mitochondrial respiration, glycolysis, ATP production, which is all is also important of the mitochondrial activity, which can responsible to the second part of the cell. First one is a nucleus, second mitochondria, and also and other one is a chloroplast. These three is a major important role in plant growth and development of in plants. In animals, then the first is a nucleus and second is also mitochondria. This is the mitochondrial structures, the powerhouse of the cell. We all eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But have you ever wondered how our body gets energy from food? That is called a mitochondria region, mitochondria responsibility. These all is of the questions. The answer lies in the mitochondria. These vital cell organelles are often called the powerhouse of the cell because they produce the energy needed to various bodily functions. The different cells have different number of mitochondria based on their energy requirements. The energy is in the form of adenosine triphosphate or also called ATP. This is a three type of the simple cells may have just one or two mitochondria. The simplest cells. In plant cells typically have hundreds of mitochondria. So at the stage of early, also called a younger stages, the mitochondrial number, mitochondria size is also increases or more. So which is in the plant cells typically have 100 mitochondria. Animal cells can contain thousands to lakh of mitochondria at the younger stage and older stages. In fact, each human cell may contain a 1 lakh to 6 lakh mitochondria, generating the 90% of the body energy. Means the mitochondria is a more major important cell organelles in human being and plants and all other organisms in the living kingdom or kingdom living kingdom, plant kingdom, animal kingdom. So this is also then cellular energy, sir. So what are the cellular respiration? The cellular respiration is which is responsible to the releasing of ATPs. These processes are occurs in the mitochondrial state. Then cellular respiration are animals and also plants, because these are two type of the cell organelles in the plants. First point is also mitochondria. Second one is a chloroplast. Then mitochondria, chloroplast, both are which can structurally, functionally related energies. The photosynthesis performing cell organelle is called a chloroplast. Then energy releasing cell organelle is called a mitochondria. So both are which major role to the plant growth and development. So this is also then mitochondria structure. The size mitochondria range from 0.5 to 10 millimicrons, similar in size to the Escherichia coli bacteria. Then shape, what are the shape? They vary in shape, rod-shaped, filamentous or granular, and can change from depending on the cell type and time. The cell type means then several group of the permanent tissues are parenchyma, collenchyma, then different type of the permanent tissues, and also called the vegetative tissues, also called meristematic tissues. In the meristematic tissues, the mitochondria activities are more and also more in number. Then size is also large size. It can responsible to the fast cell division and release of energies to the to the group of the cells which can fast division. The mitochondrial is also fast division to increasing size in the fast growth rate in meristematic tissues of the plants, which can located in the root tip, shoot tip, and nodal parts. The node are internodal parts which are responsible to the branches and leaves formation. The shoot tip and the root tip is responsible to the growth of the plants up and downwards. This is also responsible to the mitochondrial number and size. Varies with the metabolic activity of the cell. Unicellular eukaryotes usually have one mitochondria, but high number of the mitochondria which can present in the multicellular organisms of plants and animals. Then high number are active cells, example insect, flight muscles, and also called this amoeba. Then sperm cells have fewer than 100 mitochondria are there, which is also single type of the sperm cell which is responsible to the more energies which can releases to the sperm is also active during the fertilization. Then concentrated near high ATP demand areas, example base of the flagella. Animal cells have more mitochondria than plants. Then more in germinating seeds than the dormant seeds. Then germinating seeds have more active. Then cell division is a fastly, which response depends on the mitochondrial number and size. Then the dormant cells is also called after germinating the plant number and the growth of the size is also slowly, which responsible to the number of mitochondria and mitochondria size is less. Then cyclosis helps in a distribute mitochondria in plant cells. Special terms, all mitochondria in a cell, chondrium, mitochondria in muscle cells, also called as sarcosomes. This is also special type of the parts, special names of the mitochondria, which is located in the animal cells. Then alta structure of the mitochondria, it is also called a powerhouse. Within mitochondria are double membrane bound organelles, often referred to as powerhouse of the cell. Then because they generate the ATPs, adenosine triphosphate, which is also called energy currency, which is responsible to the growth and development, and all metabolic activities are maintaining in the living organisms of the plants and animals. Their detailed internal structure known as alta structure is crucial for their function. Then first you take the how many parts of the mitochondria means then mitochondria is a double membrane parts. Okay, matrix, it is also parts of the mitochondria. Then first you let me know the double membrane system. What is a double means? Then outer membrane, inner membrane, two membranes are covered by the mitochondrial wall. The mitochondria have two distinct membranes. Outer membrane means it can appear a smooth and is a freely permeable to small molecular and ions. It contains a porine proteins forming channels that allow molecules up to 5,000 Dalton pass. Because of these pores, the intermembrane space has similar composition to the cytosol. It contains a lipids and cholesterol. And outer membrane, inner membrane, between intermembrane space is present. That is also one part of then inner membrane, highly selective and impermeable to most substances, especially ions like hydrogen, potassium, chlorine, and hydroxide. Allow only gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water in pass freely. That is also present in intermembrane of the mitochondria. It lacks cholesterol, but is rich in proteins, 76%. And so carbodiolipin is a lipid also found in bacterial membranes. It is a house the electron transport chain and enzymes for oxidative phosphorylation, making it the site of the ATP production is present in the inner membranes. Then cristae, then the outer and inner membrane inside, which are present in the cristae part. The cristae is which folds, that is also power life. Inside of the cristae, which are present in the matrix, liquid, the liquid like of the matrix is present. So this matrix is which is responsible to the then liquid, and it is also present in the DNA threads like structures. DNA threads. Then the inner membrane fold inwards to form a structure called a cristae. Then these folds increase surface area, enhancing the efficiency of the ATP production. In plant cells, these folds may appear tubular and are called the tubuli. Each cristae contains in intracrystal space. This intracrystal space, which is also this also figures, you know that, which is also all the particles in phospholipids. The folds, this fold is also called cristae. On the cristae, a hair-like, pins-like structures. The surface of the cristae is studied with F1 particles, also known as ATP synthesis complexes. So these are several number of the particles which can attach to the cristae layers, which are freely swims in the matrix. These particles are responsible for synthesis of ATP from ADP, adenosine diphosphate, to adenosine triphosphate by activity takes place by F1 particles. This is also called oxysomes and inorganic phosphates during oxidative phosphorylation. This two type of the function is maintaining the F1 particles, also called oxysomes. A single mitochondrion may have 10,000 to 1 lakh F1 particles are there, depending on the energy demand of the cells. When energies are more energies, the F1 particles are more number, which is also important, the character features. Then also called a single mitochondrion may have 10,000 to 1 lakh F1. Without these F1 particles, mitochondria cannot produce ATPs. The ATPs are important only for formation of the ATPs to mitochondria are important role in cell organelles. Without F1 particles do not form or cannot produce the ATPs, confirming their essential role, that is also F1 particles. Then mitochondria matrix, the biochemical hub. The mitochondria matrix, there is a innermost compartment of the mitochondria enclosed by the inner membrane. It plays a central role in energy. It can also called a gel-like substances, high concentrated water soluble proteins. These proteins are includes have enzymes. That enzymes are responsible to the aerobic respiration in second metabolic activities of Krebs cycle, also called citric acid cycle. Then fatty acid lipid oxidation, certain biosynthesis pathways. These are all type of the metabolites which can performing the mitochondrial matrix, also called a biochemical hub. So this, it is also genetic kind of protein machinery. So the matrix contains the necessary components for limited protein synthesis. making mitochondria semi-autonomous. Means it present in the single thread-like structure of the DNAs. That is called a ribosomes. Specialized ribosomes are found in mitochondria. Then Swedberg unit 55S to 80S smaller than cytoplasmic ribosomes. It involved protein translation within the mitochondria. The second is mitochondrial DNA, also called mtDNA. The two type of the machineries are major important are present in the matrix. The mitochondrial DNA double-stranded, circular and naked, not associated with stones. The codes for a small protein, about 1% of mitochondria proteins are present in the mtDNA. tRNA means transfer RNA and enzymes. The three parts which majorly is called a genetic and protein machinery parts, which performing, which occurs in the matrix. The transfer and enzymes required for transcription from DNA and translation making proteins from RNA. Transcription, translation, two type of the performing enzymes are also present in the machineries of the crystal. This is a major important role. Then it is also called a semi-autonomous nature. Mitochondria are termed semi-autonomous organelle because they contain their own DNA. It cannot depend on the nucleus. Any activity, any functionally which can take place in self, that is called a also called a self-replicated parts of the DNA. It contains their own DNA, passes ribosomes and enzymes for protein synthesis. However, they are still dependent on nuclear DNA for about 99% of their proteins, which are synthesized in the cytoplasm and imported into the mitochondria. That is, so they are still depend on nuclear DNA for 90%. Important. The mitochondrial matrix is metabolically active region containing enzymes for key energy generating process and the genetic tools for synthesizing some of its own proteins. Through mitochondria have their own DNA and ribosomes, they rely heavily on the nucleus, making them partially independent in function, not original. The original part of DNA which located in the nucleus, but the mitochondria only partially depend to the nucleus. Means it is also self-replicated cell organelles. So then structure of the mitochondria, which are ATP synthetase. So F1 to F0 ATPs. Then the main components of the enzyme consist of two major parts. F1 units, globular head type of that. Then F0 unit means basal membrane embedded section. These two parts work together to convert energy from a proton gradient into chemical energy in the form of ATP. It can transfer of a adenosine diphosphate to adenosine triphosphate for two type of the work together to convert energies. Proton gradient part is present in the F1 and F0 particles. So this is also important of the figures. Then F1 unit, the ATP produce head type located in the mitochondrial matrix. It is located in the mitochondrial matrix, then composed of 5 different subunits of there, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, eta. These structures, subunits form a nanomer with these structures. In the alpha and beta subunits alternate from the hexameric rings. So these are also alpha, beta, gamma, delta. These are also rings are there. So this is also located in attaching part of the crystal, which are freely swims in the matrix. So these the F0 unit, the proton channels embedded in their inner in mitochondrial membranes. Also, it can forms the channel through the which protons hydrogen ions are low. This proton movement provides the energy to the rotate the Y stalk, leading to the ATP synthesis in the F1 heat. So this is important. How to release of ATP? This total structure, the total process of this one. The how to prepare the ATP? What do you mean of the energy currency? This is all is there. Then all is there. This type of the process. Then conservation of across life forms. Similar ATP synthesis complex are found in bacteria, chloroplast, mitochondria. These similarity suggestion a common evolutionary origin and highlights its essential role in energy productions. The ATP synthase complex is similar to the bacterial mitochondria cluster chloroplast. The mitochondrial ATP synthase is a complex molecular machine made of multiple protein subunits. It converts the energy of a protein gradient into ATP, which powers nearly all cellular process. It structurally is a highly conserved, underlining the vital role of in all forms of the life. This is also across the parts of the, then also this important, what are the major function of the mitochondria means energy currency. How to energy currency releases only F1 particles, then oxysomes are important. That is a major parts. Then what are the major functions of mitochondria? These the most important functional of mitochondria is produce energy through the process of oxidative phosphorylation. It is also involved in the following process. First point, it regulates the metabolic activities of the cell. First important function, metabolic uh, activities of the cell. Metabolism means all cell organelles which can active depends on the mitochondria activity. Then it can all type of the cell organelles to supply the ATP to working depends on the mitochondria. It can promote the growth of new cells and the cell multiplications. The second important in the growth of the new cells means dividing. Means the meiosis, mitosis, both are depending on the activity mitochondria performing this. Growth of the new cells and multiplication of the cells. It helps in detoxifying ammonia in the liver cells. That is important. The liver working depends on the mitochondrial activity. Then it is also detoxifying ammonia in the liver cells. It plays an important role in apoptosis of programmed cell death. Cell death depending on this mitochondrial function. Then fifth one, it is responsible for building certain parts of the blood and various hormones like testosterone and estrogen. It is also reproductive hormones, which majorly activities in reproduction, male and female. That activity depends on the mitochondria. It helps in maintaining an adequate concentration of the calcium ions within the compartment of the cells. The calcium ion is an additional help to the mitochondrial enzymes to performing to active in the estrogen testosterone hormones. It is also involved in various cellular activities like cellular differentiations, cell signaling, cell synthesis, controlling the cell cycle and also in cell growth. Means the cell cycle, mitosis, and meiosis. Also called as cell growth, then cell signaling. Several, okay, in the total life, the total living part is depending on the mitochondria activity. It is also then the mitochondria structure is a major important. The mitochondria is a major functions to performing all living cells of living organisms of within the bacteria and also called a virus. Then also plants and animals, every living organism, it can definitely present in the performing activity. It is also completed the mitochondria structure function. Next one is also chloroplast. This is also the photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Both are missing. That is also, it is a downside brown color mitochondria. It is also chemical energy release. Then chloroplast, the chloroplast and also solar sunlight, light energy, water, carbon dioxide, and gives us release of photosynthesis. The oxygen release. This oxygen is combined to the glucose to chemical energy ATP releases. And the chloroplast, mitochondria, both are one by related cell organelles. First one, the mitochondria functioning, chloroplast. The chloroplast functioning to equal to the mitochondria. Then photosynthesis and cellular respiration. The photosynthesis cell organelle is called chloroplast. Cellular respiration maintaining part is called mitochondria. The both are important role in plants. Then in animals, only chloroplast is absent. But the glucose is releases. The glucose is taken to the outside of the body. In plants, the chloroplast does not take the glucose from outside. It can prepare the own. That is called an autotrophous organism. Autotrophs. So this is very important of the cell. Then what are the chloroplast and also then what are the parts of the chloroplast? The same way, it has a mitochondrial-like parts. Outer membrane, inner membrane, inside of the stroma thylakoids, grana thylakoids, and also called so thylakoids are it is as a different parts. That is also cristae. Here is also thylakoids. Then different also. So the types of the plastids. And what are the chloroplast? And chloroplast of the
Sir, uh,
thermoplastids
excuse
was
me,
used by
excuse me, sir.
Schimper
I
in
have given
1985.
to you.
And the
Yugandhar
classified
sir,
plastids as
Harish, am I
Yes, sir, audible, sir.
Audible, sir.
audible?
Yes,
Harish.
sir,
Yes, sir.
audible.
Yugandhar sir, Harish,
sir, types of the plastids. The
hello,
term plastids was used by
Audible,
Schimper
sir. Audible, sir.
in
hello,
and classified the three types of the plastids, which is also leucoplast, chromoplast, chloroplast. The leucoplast is leuco means white, plasts means living parts. Then are a colorless plastids are found in embryonic and germ cells. It can found in those region of the plant and are not receiving the light. They store carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. And
హరీష్
according
వినపడుతుందా?
of the
హరీష్
Yes, sir.
నీకు హోస్ట్
వినపడుతుంది, sir.
ఇస్తున్నాను, సెషన్ తర్వాత క్లోజ్ చేయి, వైండ్ అప్ చేయి. సెషన్
No,
తర్వాత
Okay,
వైండ్
sir.
అప్
Okay.
చేయి, నీకు హోస్ట్ ఇస్తున్నా.
Okay, sir.
sir,
Clear?
amyloplast, elioplast, proteoplast, proteinoplast. The three types of the leucoplast is divides. Second is also chromoplast. Chromo means color, plast means living, or the colored plastids containing carotenoid and other pigments. They import color yellow, orange, and red. Then xanthophylls, then carotenoids, and also called the phenaceates. Then it can portion of the plants such as flower petals, rose color, fruits tomato, and roots carrot. Two types of the in the pheoplast, rhodoplast, that is called a chromo, means coloring blast, which is responsible to the color of the fruits, color of the seeds, color of the color of the parts of the plants or leaves also then. Some type of the leaves is also brown color and also rose color, that it can response of the chromoplast. The third one is important of the chloroplast. The chloro means green, plast means living. It can occur mostly in green algae and plants and contains a pigments like chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, and DNA and RNA is present. That is also type of the plastids. That plastids are which can classify the three types. In three types, after the chloroplast is also major important role. All is also important, but here leucoplast is also storage. Chromoplast is also coloring. Chloroplast is also called preparation of the food in photosynthesis activity. So this according to the Schimper, different kinds of plastids can transfer into one another. Chloroplast transfer to the chromoplast. Chromoplast transfer into the leucoplast. Leucoplast transfer into the chloroplast. And every type of the plast which is responsible to the major function of the plants. Then leucoplast also becoming the chloroplast. Chloroplast is also becoming the chromoplast. Means it can, Schimper is also response to the idea, which is also different in one part is also converted to the other parties. Then historical. The chloroplast were described as early as the 17th century by Nehemiah Greek and Antony van Leeuwenhoek. The term plastid was used by Schimper in 1885. He also classified the plastids of plants. A Mayer and Schimper showed that chloroplast always arise from pre-existing chloroplast. And one new chloroplast is comes from the old chloroplast. That is a new chloroplast. Billstatter and Stoll isolated and characterized green pigments, which is also okay. Okay, continue, sir. So then Billstatter okay, start, sir. Then Julius and Saj showed that sir, okay.
సార్ లింగన్న సార్ కొంచెం మ్యూట్ లో పెట్టుకోండి సార్
మ్యూట్ లో పెట్టమంటారు
నాంపల్లి
మ్యూట్ లో పెట్టమంటారు
Okay, sir. So then the
మ్యూట్ లో పెట్టు
then
మ్యూట్
also
అందరూ డిస్టర్బెన్స్ అవుతుందట మ్యూట్ లో పెట్టు
so then
కంటిన్యూ సార్
of the chloroplast remain distributed homogeneously in the cytoplasm of the plant cells. The algae usually have a single huge chloroplast. The cells of the higher plants have 20 to 40 chloroplasts. When the number of chloroplasts is inadequate, it increases by division. When excessive, it is reduced by the generations. That is also important. The chloroplast is a semi-autonomous organelle like the mitochondria. The chloroplast has its own DNA, RNA, and protein synthetic, also machinery part. The DNA of chloroplast is recent plants 1962 reported DNA in chloroplast. The chloroplast DNA is double helical circle. with an average length of 45 millimicrons, about 135,000 biometers. Ribosomes are also of the chloroplast are smaller than cytoplasmic ribosomes and are of 70S type and resembles with the bacterial ribosomes contain a tRNA. Then protein synthesis. The protein synthesis, which can is a DNA of chloroplast codes for chloroplast mRNA, rRNA, tRNA, and ribosomal RNA proteins, which is also semi-autonomous. Then chemical composition of the chloroplast. The protein percentage of the dry weight 35 to 55, components insoluble 18%, lipids 20 to 30% dry weight, fats 50% sterols 20, wax 16, phospholipids 2 to 7%, carbohydrates variable, starch, sugars, phosphates 3 to 7%, chlorophyll 9.0, chlorophyll A 75% of chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B is at 25%. Carotenoid 4.5 dry weight, xanthophyll 75%, keratin 25%. Then last one important is nucleic acids. Then RNA 3 to 4 dry weight, then DNA 0. This is also not soluble, which is a chemical composition of the chloroplast. Then alta structures. So what are the means of the alta structure? Means it can be observed under the electron microscopes. It can performing the different parts of the mitochondria. First one, it is envelope. Second one, stroma. Third one, thylakoids. Envelope, the entire chloroplast is bounded by envelope, which is made up of double unit membrane. Across this double membrane, envelope exchanges of molecules between chloroplast and cytosol occurs. This is also important of the cell organelles of the chloroplast. Second one is the stroma. The matrix or stroma fill most of the volume of the chloroplast and is a kind of gel fluid phase that surround the thylakoids. It contains proteins, ribosomes, and DNA. So thus, the stroma is the site of the carbon dioxide fixation, and which the synthesis of sugar, starch, fatty acids, and some proteins are occurs. Then third major important is also called thylakoids. The thylakoids contain of the flat-ended and closed vesicles arranged as a membrane network. Thylakoids may be stacked like a neat and pile of kinds, forming grana. There may be 40 to 60 grana in the matrix of the chloroplast. Light reaction occurs in the thylakoids membrane. So this is also chloroplast, inner membrane, outer membrane, and also the grana thylakoids and stroma thylakoids are there. Then biogenesis of chloroplast. The chloroplast never originated de novo. The chloroplast is a multiply fission, a process that multiply growth of the daughter organelles. Then during the development of the chloroplast, the first structure to appear in the so-called the proplastids. The proplastids are developed into the mitochondria or chloroplast. Proplastid is then develops into the chloroplast. This is a biogenesis of chloroplast. Then the symbol of the origin of chloroplast. The chloroplast is a derived grow and different. They contains a circular DNA. Ribosome, the RNA, messenger RNA, and are able to conduct to photosynthesis. Then the chloroplast is also important for preparation of the food material, also called the protein synthesis. By visualization, these similarities are between microorganisms and chloroplast has been suggested that chloroplast might have relationship between autotrophic microorganisms. That is also suggestion. But some of the enzymes of chloroplast are coded by nuclear genes. So there still exists certain doubt about about the symbiotic origin of the chloroplast. This is also one type of the research which can be reported by the Kirk in 1966. Then what that is a total important structure. And then outer lamella thylakoids and granithylakoids, stomathylakoids, and that is parts of the chloroplast. Then functions of the chloroplast is a major is also photosynthesis. The process of photosynthesis of the following two steps. Two steps. First one, light reaction. Second one, dark reactions. The light reactions, also known as Hill reactions, photosynthetic electrons transfer reactions are photochemical reactions. In the light reaction, solar energy is trapped in form of the chemical energy of ATP and NADPH. During it, oxygen is solved in photolysis. The dark reaction is also known as a Kelvin reaction. The photosynthetic carbon reduction cycle, PCR cycle, then carbon fixation reactions. So these are all is also important of the reducing of capacity of NADPH, and energy of ATP is utilized for the conservation of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. It occurs in the stoma. That this is also important side. Then what are the different of the comparison table? Mitochondria versus of the chloroplast. Majorly 20 differences are there. Then the basis of qualities or characters and also difference mitochondria and also chloroplast. The first one is also, then what are the definition? The definition, organelles found in all types of the eukaryotic cells, mitochondria. Then organelles found in green plants, algae, and some protistas, that is only present. Then structure, it is a double membrane with inner membrane folded into the crystal. Then the chloroplast is also called a inner membrane and outer membrane. The double membrane is also present. Shape, oblong in bean shaped. Then chloroplast is also disc shaped in ellipsoid. Enzymes, it can contain the respiratory enzymes, does not contain the respiratory enzymes. Then surface area, large due to the cristae, smaller compounds of the mitochondria. Then chambers, cristae and matrix, thylakoids and stroma. Color, colorless, green due to the chlorophyll pigments. Oxygen role, consumers oxygen or produce energy. Produce oxygen during photosynthesis. Grana, absent, cristae to do not form the grana. Then chloroplast, present thylakoid stalk to form of grana. Then energy conservation, release energy in the form of ATP, stores energy in the form of glucose. This is also important. Then next one, the diameter 0.75 to 3 millimicrons. That is also called a mitochondria. Then chloroplast, then 5 to 10 millimicrons to length. Then oxygen consumes, then release oxygen in chloroplast. Then raw materials and products breaks down glucose into carbon dioxide and water, uses carbon dioxide and water to synthesis of glucose. Pigments, no pigments present in the mitochondria. Pigments are present in the chloroplast, contains a chlorophyll and carotenoids in thylakoid membranes. Inner membranes folded into the cristae, then form of flattened sac called thylakoids, found in all aerobic organisms, plants, animals, fungi. Only in green plants, green algae, and some protista like euglena. Functions, cellular respiration, produce ATP, photosynthesis and photorespiration. Entomology, then from Greek, mitas, thread, candice, granules. From Greek word, coals, green, and platters formed. Then process of involved, electron transport chain, oxidative phosphorylation, beta oxidation, respiration. These are all activities involved in the mitochondria. Then photosynthesis and photorespiration involved in the chloroplast. other characters. Conversion glucose to ATP requires oxygen, produces carbon dioxide and water. Site of respiration related to the pathways. These are all is the character features of the mitochondria. Then, then in the same way, stores solar energy in glucose, releases oxygen, uses carbon dioxide and water to make glucose. The fourth is the sites of photosynthesis. This is also major differentiations or comparison table of mitochondria versus and chloroplast. So this is also then also completing the total mitochondria and chloroplast. Now just asking a few questions, you will be observe how to understand these topics. And it can answering the easier. Any doubts? You will think that mitochondria are known as the dash of the cell powerhouse. You know that the dash membranes of mitochondria is smooth, contains a portion protein. Answer is outer membrane. The inner membrane of mitochondria is folded into cristae. Mitochondrial DNA is dash and dash standard and locks is to then double and circular. DNA is double standard circular locks of the and stones. The space between the inner and outer membrane of the mitochondria called the intermembrane space. Mitochondria generated energy of the form of ATP. The dash contains the enzymes for the Krebs cycle, means mitochondria matrix. This is also same questions. Mitochondria are absent in dash prokaryotic. The inner mitochondria membrane rich in lipids called the cardiolipin. The dash substance of F1 ATP synthesis from the catalytic site for ATP synthesis means beta subunits important. Beta subunits of F1 ATP synthesis. Mitochondria have their ribosomes called the mitoribosomes. Mitochondria are involved in the dash electron transport chain. In muscle cells, mitochondria are also known as sarcosomes. The central stalk of ATP synthesis is made up of the gamma subunit. The mitochondrial outer membrane is freely permeable to the molecules up to dash means 5,000 Daltons. This is also important of the mitochondria. The folds of the inner membrane increase for energy or surface area. Mitochondria divided by a process similar to the binary fission. The collective term for all mitochondria in the cell is called a chondriome. The F1, F0 ATP synthesis is also known as a complex B. The movement of the proton across the inner membrane creates a dash, means proton hydrogen ion. This is a major important the multiple or filling the blanks of the mitochondria. Now chloroplast. The chloroplast is a found in plants, cells and some algae. Then dark chloroplast are also site of the photosynthesis. The green pigments in chloroplast is called a chlorophylls. Chloroplasts have double dash structure, means membrane. The inner membrane enclosed dense fluid called the stroma. Stalk of the thylakoids in the chloroplast are known as grana. That is also a single disc-like structure in a grana is called the thylakoid. The thylakoid membrane contains the dash photosynthetic pigments. ATP dash and dash are produced in the light dependence reaction. ATP and NADPH. Important. The dash occurs in the stroma, Kelvin cycle. Chloroplast converts dash to dash energy, the solar energy to chemical energy. The oxygen released during photosynthesis comes from dash water. That is, chloroplast have their dash and dash means DNA and ribosomes. The enzymes dash is involved in carbon fixation Kelvin cycle Rubisco replace bypass for carbon oxides. This is also important. Rubisco that. Then last one, the chloroplasts are classified as semi-autonomous organelles. That is the process of converting carbon dioxide into glucose is called carbon fixation. Chloroplast DNA is dash circular double stranded. Chloroplasts are derived from the ancient dash through endosymbiosis cyanobacteria. Then the space inside the thylakoid is called the dash lumen. The chloroplasts are found only in dash cells, that is called eukaryotic cells, which is also lost. The chloroplasts are classified the dash. You know that the process of converting the carbon dioxide into glucose is called carbon fixation. The chloroplast DNA is dash and dash circular double stranded. The chloroplasts are derived anciently, you know that cyanobacteria. The space inside the thylakoid is called same. Then chloroplasts are also found in the eukaryotic cells. This is also important parts, important multiple choice questions. All of the questions, which is a so this is also last sites of photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Both are important role in the plant cells. Only mitochondria is important role in animals. That can be, sir. Okay, sir, completed this. Chloroplast and mitochondria both are major activities which are responsible to the growth, development, and continuation of the life. Also there, the oxygen is prepared in plants. In chloroplast, oxygen is utilized in mitochondria. Then after utilization, release of ATP is requirement for working, energy, breathing, developing, working, any parts. The mitochondria activity, this total comes from the chloroplast. The chloroplast is the first major important cell organelles in the world. Second one is also mitochondria. These two type of the organelles responsible to the live part releases into the earth, that is called a plants and animals. Okay, sir.
సార్ వైండ్ చేయమంటారా సార్ సెషన్? థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
Okay.